We are getting ready for the Universal Basic Income March. Today is October the 26th. So, where you come from today?
Connecticut.
Connecticut.
I'm from the Upper West Side, New York City.
Upper West Side. Oh, that's so far away.
I'm from Hoboken, New Jersey.
Get on Montreal.
Hoboken, New Jersey. Yes.
Montreal.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
He's from Montreal.
I'm from Canada. From
Montreal.
Canada. Oh, well, you got a trophy from all of us. Yeah.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Right on.
Show me some money.
This time, I know it's been done before, but this time, we will achieve universal basic income for all.
Money's not evil, but money's with the people. Show me the money. Show me the money.
Money's not evil. What? Money's not evil. Money's not evil. Money's not evil.
Show me the money. Show me the money. Show me the money. Give power to the people. Give power to the people. Shut it down. Shut it down.
Well, universal basic income was described in 1916, I think it was, by Bertrand Russell as a certain small income, enough for necessaries, should be given to everyone without any conditions, and then a larger income should be given to people that do some work on which the community finds useful. And on this, we can build further. So basic income is not the end of social justice, it's the beginning, but it is an important beginning to it. Everyone needs that base to not have to fear for lacking the resources that you need to survive.
$1,000 a month. $1,000. We're marching for the human right to $1,000 a month, universal basic income. This is something that Martin Luther King was fighting for before he was assassinated. He called it the guaranteed minimum income. It's something that Andrew Yang is running for on his presidential platform right now. He calls it the freedom dividend. $1,000 a month to do whatever you want with. That's a human right, 18 and up.
Gang beats Trump! Gang beats Trump! Gang beats Trump! Gang beats Trump!
Well, everything that Yang says is absolutely right with regards to the income tax, and we need to move towards a VAT tax system where, because individuals and corporations are able to gain the income tax just because of the fact that you have to report income and the likes, and the VAT is a lot harder to escape. So that's definitely something that we need to move towards. As a tax professional, that's what I would. I acknowledge when Yang said it, I knew he knows. It seems like he knows a little bit of everything. He knows like how each of the fields function and how they interplay. So, his ideas are amazing in the sense that they're like, as a tax professional, I know what he's talking about when he talks about tax. It's not joking around or anything.
I would be angry too if I was in my head. I called out for each state. I don't think we said that enough. We need a lot of.
Hello? Thank you all for being here, because today we in New York made history. Because today will be remembered that New York was the birthplace, the founding city of the first global march for basic income in the history of the world.
Let's give it up for Dylan, Stacy, and Diane.
How grateful we are. We're not turning back, and we're taking everybody with us. No one is being left back. Mott Haven is not being left back. This is for everyone. We deserve this. This country has no safety net left. And you know what? We're gonna make a new one, a better one, that isn't invasive, that isn't inadequate, and that doesn't degrade and demean people and leave people to die in the streets.
So one of the things that I know Dylan talked a little bit about this at the church when we started, but one of the things that's really been born out of this process of the march, it was very quickly, as soon as we launched the announcement to have this, it caught on like wildfire. Very quickly we went to 10 cities, 15 cities, 20 cities, and now we're up to 29 across 6 continents. It's been amazing, and what we know is, for all the people that are supporters of Yang, when he first entered into his candidacy, put his hat in the ring, he said, even if I don't win, if UBI starts to be part of the national conversation and somebody else picks it up, then that's a success. And we know that we want to have everything in place to be able to allow for, no matter what happens with Yang, we hope he goes to the White House. He's gonna go to the White House.
I don't want to say too much except to say thank you all for coming here. This would be nothing without each and every one of you. We are out here doing. UBI is not on paper anymore. It's out here in the streets.
UBI!
What do we want?
UBI!
What do we want?
UBI!
Usually I do a chant, but all I have to do is say one thing. Andrew Yang. Yang Gang is real. Y'all are real out here. Right on. For 40 years, he's an author, he's a UBI advocate, and he's an educator. Let's give it up for Carl White-Crest.
Thank you. I support UBI because it's wrong to come between anybody and the resources they need to survive. And that is exactly what we do in just about every country in the world today. Poverty doesn't just happen. People don't get themselves into poverty. Poverty is a lack of access to resources. The world is full of resources. The only reason you can lack access to the resources you need to survive is because somebody else controls them, whether it's an owner, whether it's a politburo, whether it's a bureaucracy. Doesn't matter who controls them if it's not you, and they say you can't have them unless you do what we say. You are not free. We have owed each other a basic income since we enclosed the commons, since we abducted the slaves, since we killed the buffalo. We all owe each other a basic income. That's why I'm marching today, and thank you for joining me. Who's next?
Basic income is about giving everybody their fair share of this American dream. Yang Gang. Y'all are the best, I swear. Okay, right now, we'd like to bring up the one and only Conrad Shaw.
We have made a couple of very powerful tools for the movement, and I'd like to share them with you today. One's not quite ready, but when it is in 2020, you'll be able to find it on your TV. The other is ready, and it's already in your pocket right now on your smartphones, but we'll talk about that in a second. First, I gotta say, it is so special to see so many loving faces and marching feet out here in the street today for UBI. This is the only way it's gonna happen, guys. Grassroots. That's the only way. It's the whole damn game. People in the streets, all of us, coming together, making ourselves heard. A few short years ago, the idea of UBI was hardly a blip on anyone's radar, except Carl and Scott and several other people who are keeping it alive. And today, suddenly, it's becoming a movement. That's you. Hear it up for yourselves. I'll say Andrew Yang if I got to.
I assumed, even after looking at basic income, I assumed that the safety net worked in a way that you think that it should work. It doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. It just enraged me to learn, especially just the details of TANF. TANF, for those who don't know, is Temporary Assistance for Needy Families. It's a block grant. And in the state of Louisiana, for every 100 families in poverty, 4 are receiving TANF. If you look at SNAP, which is our best program, the food stamps that you get essentially last for around, on average, 3 weeks every month. You can get them for 3 months, then it expires. And you can get that every 3 years. So, if you think that SNAP exists for everybody and you can just get it, no. If you look at disability, for every 5 people with a disability in this country, 1 person is receiving disability assistance. So if you look at our safety net, it's exactly what it is. It's just a net full of holes that people fall through. Right now, 13 million people in poverty are entirely disconnected from this federal safety net entirely. They're getting nothing. So that was a big one for me, was learning about that, and I think it's important that people understand just how much of a failure our existing safety net is. For those who don't know, I crowdfunded my own basic income and have been living with $1,000 per month as my floor every month since January of 2016. Along the way, I learned that this is about security, and it's a word that you don't really understand until you feel it. Like, I had no idea what security felt like until I had it. So when people think about basic income, it's not mainly about the money. It's about the unconditionality of the money. It's that you know that every month you will start with this amount that you can plan on, and you know it's going to be there. And that feeling of security is just life-changing. And the other thing I learned too, besides the importance of unconditionality, is that it enables and empowers us to pursue what is most important to us. And that's what I've been doing. That's why I'm here. The only reason I'm up here at all, the only reason any of you know my name, is because I'm able to actually pursue what I think is important. And that's what I've been pushing for years, is basic income that's important to me. I have that ability, and I want everyone to have that ability too, to pursue what's most important to them. And I think, how much will basic income save? How much does it cost to not have a basic income? That's what's really expensive. And so I think now very differently about a lot of things. And I think that Martin Luther King was absolutely right when he described poverty as akin to cannibalism. And so when you think about what is basic income, UBI is not free money. UBI is freedom. UBI is power. UBI is trust. UBI is our natural inheritance. It's our share of the earth. UBI is our technological inheritance. UBI is our just compensation for our data. It's our return on investment for the tax dollars that paid for all of the technology that the corporations are utilizing for their profits for free. We don't get anything back from that. UBI is economic justice. And that's the thing, is that we don't recognize economic rights yet. Basic income is that. We must recognize that in a world where life has a price, that we must extend access to what we need to survive. It's absolute bare minimum. We have to have access to that. If it is not okay to choke someone to death, it is not okay to pull and keep them from breathing and only provide the air back to them if they do what you want or you work for them in ways that you are approved of. So after all these stages, here I am, and I just want us to keep going forward. Think about what we can accomplish with a basic income, and understand that basic income is ours. It is ours. Let's demand it. Let's make it happen. Because goddamn it, it's the 21st century, and it's about goddamn time.
Right on, baby. Good job.
So much, everyone. It's an honor and a pleasure to stand before you, and I give God the glory for me for standing here. And to Common Avenue Baptist Church and my minister, Reverend Jesse Dr. Williams, who made this possible, the start of the march. And most importantly, thank everyone in the 28 cities around this nation who are gathered here to say we need a basic income.
Where are you from?
Originally from Texas.
Yeah.
And I live in Bushwick.
Bushwick.
Yeah, in Brooklyn. Yeah.
Brooklyn, yeah.
I like seeing James, Felton, Keith talk, JFK. I didn't know, and Scott Stanton. Yeah. Yeah, that's really enjoyable. Yeah. And meeting all the people that are Yang Gang. I mean, I've never seen so many Yang Gang assembled in one place, so that was fun.
Randy, what do you think of the march today?
I think it was very successful. I think we got a lot of people who saw that this movement was happening, that weren't aware of it, who know from firsthand knowledge that it's a necessity, because one of the reasons they're not engaged in politics is because they're too busy trying to figure out what's for dinner and how they're going to feed their families.
I've only met like 2 other people part of the Yang Gang. Today was, a few hundred, so it was great.
It's funny, part of this history is that right before Nixon proposed his family assistance plan, a couple of scholars asked around DC, and they kind of wanted to get an idea of how much support there was for this idea of an income guarantee that was becoming a more discussed subject among economists and stuff in the later 60s. So they do this report and they find that, well, there's hardly any support for this. And people are asked, so what would happen? And they say, first of all, the president is like, he's never going to propose this, and it's never going to get through the House, it's never going to get through the Senate, it's just not going to happen. And then like a couple months after that report came out, Nixon proposed the family assistance plan. And then they went back and asked people, and they're like, oh yeah, this could happen. He just proposed it.
I don't have a strong opinion on that. My friend, I think it was a lot of positive energy, finally we need to start waking up to some things that people have not been talking about for years and years. Talking about automation, talking about universal basic income, trying to think about how we value people in this 21st century, where work may not exist anymore. We have to redefine what work is. So, great event, great vibes, great people. Look at around,
Thank you for doing all the great work.
I think today's event was a great success, and it just shows why we can win. All the people that came out, lots of Yang gangs.
Tell me your name, please.
My name is Tony Brea. I'm a small business owner in the Bronx, and I've been in business for over 20 years. I've never seen it this bad. There's no money in the community. So I started researching about Andrew Yang and doing the math, and it makes sense. I mean, I own stock, my stocks are going up, but my business is going down. That's the problem, So I think that he's the only one that's got a solution for our community at this point. And I love the community, but unfortunately right now, the way things are going, it doesn't look good. Rents are going up, business is going down. So we need to have a guy like Andrew. So I got my fingers crossed. I'm hoping that Andrew pulls it off. I think he will. He comes across great on the debates. He seems like a nice, humble guy. Everybody else up there is either too clueless or too old or too,
And how long you lived in the Bronx?
I've been here all my life,
And it's just getting worse now.
It's getting worse now.
We're running out of time. The only one that can help our community right now is Andrew Yang for president. You have to vote. You got a hashtag. You got to tell your people about the Yang Gang. Our community needs $1,000 a month for everybody.